Hey ChatGPT, is the Quran considered a living miracle? And if so, why? I'd like to discuss the miracle of memorizing this book. Is it also possible for other religious texts, such as the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita, to be memorized in the same way?
Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 121. Those to whom we have given the book recite it with its true recital. They believe in it. And whoever disbelieves in it, it is they who are the losers. This verse highlights the significance of reciting and understanding the Quran, which aligns with the concept of memorization and its role in a Muslim's faith and practice. Clearly, the Quran has been preserved in its original language since it was revealed over 1,400 years ago. This preservation is seen as a miracle in itself, as it has remained unchanged, unlike many other religious texts. Memorizing the Quran, Hifz, is a widespread practice among Muslims. Millions of people, including children, memorize the entire text, which reflects its significance and the dedication of its followers. The process of memorization is often emphasized in Islamic education, leading to a strong communal and cultural aspect around it. It's true that the Bible exists in many translations and versions, which can complicate memorization in a uniform way compared to the Quran, which is preserved in its original Arabic. Regarding the Bhagavad Gita, while it may not have the same widespread memorization practices as the Quran, there are indeed individuals and groups who memorize its verses as part of their spiritual practice.
Thank you so much, ChatGPT. Let's dive deeper into this chapter together with Jack and Wilson. Hey everyone, before we dive into that, I was delving into my YouTube channel analytics and noticed most of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to the channel. Would you do me a huge favor, please, and hit the subscribe button? It really motivates me and helps the channel to grow so I can do more videos just like the one you're about to watch. So without further ado, let's dive in.
All right, let's jump into another deep dive. This time, we're going to be exploring the concept of the Quran as a miracle.
Okay.
And we're going to be focusing specifically on memorization.
Yeah.
And our source material today is going to be a lecture by Dr. Yasir Qadhi to students at a Quran academy.
Well, one of the intriguing things about memorization is I think it's often seen as like the beginning, right? Like the starting point.
Right, yeah.
But Dr. Qadhi really, I think, challenges that notion.
Okay.
He presents it as a miracle in and of itself.
So let's unpack that a little bit. Dr. Qadhi points out that there are these verses in the Quran that are known as verses of challenge,
right,
or ayatul tahadi.
Yeah.
And he points out that there are 5 of these.
Yes.
These verses that are essentially challenging, people to create something comparable to the Quran.
Yeah, and it's not just a general challenge, right? Like it's not just to produce anything.
Right.
The verses specify surahs,
Right.
It's almost like Allah is saying, go ahead, try to match this.
Right. For instance, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah says, "And if you are in doubt about what we have sent down upon our servant, then produce a surah the like thereof."
Yeah. What's really interesting about that verse is the use of lam and lan.
Okay.
These grammatical particles in Arabic that emphasize the impossibility of anyone meeting this challenge.
Right.
Whether in the past, present, or future. It really amplifies the challenge.
So it's not just a challenge, it's a statement about the Quran's unique nature.
Exactly.
That it's something beyond human capability to replicate.
Precisely. And then he goes a step further, and he actually argues that the very act of memorizing the Quran is itself a miraculous feat.
Now, you've probably memorized at least parts of the Quran.
Yours? Yeah.
It's incredible how those words and those rhythms stay with you. I mean, could you imagine trying to memorize like a 600-page physics textbook?
And not just any textbook. Imagine it's in ancient Greek.
Right.
Or something, right?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it highlights, I think, the inherent ease with which the Quran is memorized. Something unique to this text.
Yeah, and Dr. Qadhi, he doesn't stop there.
No.
He delves into the historical context.
Right.
And kind of reminds us of, the lack of widespread communication and access to knowledge during the Prophet Muhammad's time.
Yeah, it's hard for us to even imagine a world like without internet, without, even printing presses, really.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Like, could you imagine trying to verify the historical accuracy of events?
Right.
Or the lineages of prophets, without Google, without any readily available resources.
Yeah, absolutely. To put it in perspective, into saying a bunch. Imagine just, we had the story of Prophet Jesus in the Quran.
Right.
We have the story of Prophet Moses in the Quran, right?
Mm-hmm.
Detailed accounts of, past civilizations and even predictions about future events.
Right.
This in a time where, such knowledge would have been incredibly difficult to obtain.
This is where I think Dr. Qadhi's storytelling really shines. He shares some fascinating anecdotes that kind of illustrate this miraculous nature of the Quran in action.
Yeah.
One that really stood out to me was the story of Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira.
Right.
So this was, a very renowned poet known for his mastery of language, and even he was captivated by the beauty and the power of the Quran.
Yeah, Al-Walid's story is really quite powerful. And, what's truly fascinating is how Allah revealed verses in Surah Mudaththir describing Al-Walid's inner thoughts and what he would say before he even uttered a word.
It's like Allah was revealing a script of Al-Walid's, doubts and criticisms before he even voiced them.
Yeah, like, for example, the verses say, "Leave me with the one I created alone, and to whom I granted extensive wealth, and children present with him, and spread everything before him, easing his life. Then he desires that I should add more. No. Indeed, he has been toward our verses obstinate. Indeed, he thought and deliberated. So may he be destroyed for how he deliberated. Then he considered again. Then he frowned and scowled. Then he turned back and was arrogant.
Yeah.
And said, this is not but magic imitated from others. This is not but the word of a human being."
I mean, those verses show a level of insight into Al-Walid's thoughts. It certainly makes you think.
Yeah, it really underscores the divine knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Embedded within the Quran. Its ability to not just inspire, right?
Yeah.
But also to foresee and address human skepticism.
Now, another story that he shares, which is quite powerful as well, is the story of Jubayr ibn Mut'im. And this was a prisoner of war who experienced this profound transformation upon hearing the Prophet recite Surah Al-Tur.
Yeah. I think Jubayr's story is a testament to the Quran's ability to touch, even the most hardened hearts.
Right.
Imagine being held captive,
right,
likely fearing for your life, and then hearing these profound words that challenge your entire understanding of existence.
And he was, think about the setting, right?
Yeah.
He was being held in the masjid in Medina.
Right.
Surrounded by, the very people who had captured him.
Yeah.
And in that setting, the words of Surah Al-Tur, specifically the verses where Allah questions, or were they created by nothing, or were they the creators of themselves, really resonated with him.
Right. And I think what's really striking about Jubayr's story is it exemplifies, the emotional impact the Quran can have, even on those unfamiliar with its teachings.
Right.
It speaks to the power of the words themselves.
Right.
A power that can move the heart even before the mind fully grasps the meaning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the beauty and the power of the Quran transcends language itself, It touches something deeper within us.
Right.
But this idea of the Quran as like a living miracle, that's what really stuck with me from Dr. Qadhi's lecture. And he quotes this verse, which is very thought-provoking. He says, "Then we cause to inherit the book those we have chosen of our servants."
And what's really fascinating here is the implication that Allah specifically selects those who will commit the Quran to memory.
Right.
It elevates the act of memorization beyond just like personal achievement.
Right.
It becomes a divine entrustment.
So it's not just about reciting the words, it's about carrying them within you.
Right.
Becoming a vessel for this living miracle.
Yeah.
That's pretty weighty responsibility, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. If you memorize the Quran, you're part of this chosen group, entrusted with preserving and transmitting the divine word.
Right.
It's a privilege and a duty.
It gives a whole new dimension to the idea of being a hafid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just like a title or an accomplishment. It's a sacred trust.
And it brings us back to his main point, which is that memorization is just the beginning.
Right.
It's the foundation upon which a deeper understanding and connection with the Quran can be built.
I think he compares memorizing the Quran to kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's like you're just learning the alphabet of faith.
Yeah.
You know, you're learning the building blocks for a lifetime of learning and growth.
And that's a crucial point because it highlights, the ongoing nature
Right.
of it, engaging with the Quran.
Right.
Memorization opens the door
Right.
to a deeper exploration of its meanings, its context,
Mhm.
and its application in our lives.
It really makes you wonder, though, what are those next steps?
Yeah.
Like if memorization is just that first step on that staircase,
Right.
where does that journey of truly understanding and living by the Quran lead?
That's a question each individual has to grapple with.
Right.
It's a personal journey
Right.
of seeking knowledge, reflecting on the teachings, and striving to embody those Quranic values in our daily lives.
Now, Dr. Qadhi also touches upon something I think quite interesting.
Yeah.
He observes that even those who don't understand Arabic can be profoundly moved by the Quran.
Yeah.
Have you encountered that?
Many times.
Yeah.
It speaks to, I think, the inherent beauty and power
Yeah.
of the Quran's language, its rhythm, its cadence.
Right.
It's like music that resonates with the soul,
Right.
even if you don't understand the lyrics.
It's like those moments, right? When
Yeah.
you hear like a song
Yeah.
in a language you don't know,
Yeah.
but it still evokes some kind of emotion within you.
Exactly.
There's something universal about the way that the Quran can touch the human heart.
And I think that universality is further underscored,
Yeah.
by the ease with which the Quran has been memorized
Right.
across cultures and throughout history. No other book has been so widely and easily committed to memory
Right.
by people of all ages and all backgrounds.
And Dr. Qadhi emphasizes that point as a key indicator
Mm-hmm.
of the Quran's divine origin.
Right.
That it is designed for all humanity,
It's
accessible to all who seek its guidance.
Absolutely.
And in that sense, the ability to memorize the Quran becomes even more profound.
Yeah.
It's not just an individual achievement. It's a collective testament
Yeah.
to the Quran's enduring power and relevance.
It's really beautiful the way that he addresses his students,
Mm-hmm.
encouraging them to take pride in their accomplishment.
Right.
Reminding them that they've joined this lineage of Hufaz,
Right.
stretching back centuries.
Right.
Each generation entrusted with preserving this sacred text.
It's a beautiful way of framing it.
Yeah.
That memorizing the Quran isn't just about like personal piety.
Right.
It's about participating in this continuous chain of transmission.
Right.
Ensuring that Allah's word remains alive and vibrant
Right.
in the world.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something for all of us to reflect on,
Yeah.
whether we've, memorized the Quran or not.
Yeah.
This idea of being part of something larger,
Right.
of contributing to the preservation and transmission of something so profound.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really makes you appreciate like the weight and the beauty of this tradition.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Dr. Qadhi doesn't let his students rest on their laurels.
No.
He challenges them to go beyond simply memorizing the words.
Right. He poses this very important question, right? If memorization is just the beginning,
Right.
then what are those next steps
Right.
in truly understanding and living by the Quran?
Yeah, it's a question I think we should all be asking ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've learned the notes, but can you play the music? Yeah.
Can you make the Quran come alive in your life?
Exactly. It's about delving deeper, right?
Yeah.
Exploring the layers of meaning, understanding the historical context,
Right.
and most importantly, reflecting on how these teachings can guide our thoughts and actions
Right.
in the world today.
It's about moving beyond like the theoretical
Yeah.
and making the Quran like a living, breathing part of your existence.
And that, in essence, is where the true miracle lies, right?
Right.
The Quran's ability to touch hearts, inspire minds, and shape lives. That's what makes it so extraordinary.
It's not just a book on a shelf.
Yeah.
It's a source of guidance. It's a wellspring of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reminder of our purpose.
Right.
And for those who has, committed it to memory,
Yeah.
I think that responsibility is amplified.
As he reminds his students,
Yeah.
they are now entrusted
Right.
with carrying this light within them, sharing its message with others, and embodying its teachings.
In their everyday lives.
So for anyone listening out there who's a Hafid,
Yeah.
take a moment to reflect on that.
Yeah.
It's not just about reciting like beautiful words.
Right.
It's about becoming a living embodiment of the Quran's message.
It's a continuous journey
Right.
of learning, reflection, and striving to live in accordance with the values that the Quran upholds.
I think Dr. Qadhi's lecture really does leave us with this sense of awe and wonder at the miracle of the Quran.
Absolutely.
And I hope this deep dive has sparked that same feeling in you.
Yeah. It's an invitation
Yeah.
to explore the Quran's depths further, to connect with its message on a personal level,
Yeah.
and to discover the transformative power it holds.
And even if you've, never considered memorizing the Quran before, maybe this deep dive has planted a seed.
Yeah.
It's a journey that's open to anyone. And it's a journey that can, enrich your life in ways that you might never have imagined.
And remember, the miracle of the Quran isn't just in its words.
Right.
It's in its ability to touch hearts, inspire minds, and transform lives.
Absolutely. So go forth, explore, reflect, and let the Quran be your guide on this path of knowledge and faith and spiritual growth.
Absolutely. Beautifully said. I think that's a perfect way to end our deep dive today.
All right. Until next time.
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.